yeah, this is why we're friends, because I would do the exact same thing.
And I'm going to take this a step further. I'd also steal her groceries from her.
Yes. That's
And if there was any fruit, as I'm speeding away, I'm whipping it at her.
I just got an idea. So my punishment
Return your buggy, bitch! No, I didn't.
Because it was so depressing. All right. Welcome to another episode of the Jay and Kyle Show. I am still Jay Perry. That is still Kyle Andrew. And Kyle, I got a question for you today that it's something that really irks me.
Yeah.
We'll get right into it. I believe there should be punishment for these people. Now, what should the punishment be for people who don't return their cart to the cart corral?
Oh.
Now, let me just jump in because we are both still Canadian.
I have not pronounced that yet.
Is the word buggy used in the States?
That's a good question because they have so many things like we have like bagged milk and they don't know what the hell it is.
Yeah.
And like ketchup chips.
I think for the sake of this episode, we refer to buggies as carts.
Shopping
I know
carts.
I know they use cart. I don't know if they use buggy and if buggy is just a
both.
Canadian thing. We do.
But like technically like a buggy, it's a buggy, but it's like buggies are also like those wire things you pull and you bring them your own ones, like they collapse and stuff like that, and they open up to like I don't know. It's shopping cart, buggies. Listen, viewers, Americans, basically, if you're watching this, we're referring to shopping carts sometimes as buggies. Sometimes we refer to buggies as shopping carts. Please follow along.
Yes. So this is something that like I have a strong passion, hatred. I don't know what the word is for. Like a lot of these viewers are new to both of you and I. And would you agree that you could probably define me as a genuinely nice human being that likes to take care of the well-being of others?
I'm willing to lie and say that, yes. No, it's totally true. You are. You're a generally good-natured person.
These people, man, they are the scum of the earth for some reason.
They might be the worst.
Yeah. Now, I think that they need punishment. People that don't return their carts, I think it's like what I hate is it's like the entitled person. You know, they're above the law. They don't have to walk 4 feet and put it back.
Right.
What?
Or
I know
40
you've got
or whatever.
Or whatever. It's okay to put wherever. What's your experience with? I know you have some personal experience with the whole buggy cart world.
Well, my first real job, not counting like paper routes and stuff like that, which I mean, hey, that's a real job. But like I'm an employee. I've got a SIN number, all that stuff.
Yeah.
It was pushing buggies at a grocery store, bottom of the totem pole. Pushing them through ice storms here in Canada, which is a different ball game entirely. And It was in a really rough neighborhood where shopping carts were very, very frequently stolen. But before I really comment on it, I want to have a back and forth with you about... I was thinking about this during my pre-show pee. I always pee right before the show. And I'm wondering, is there a scenario in which it's okay to not return your buggy? And the thing that came immediately to mind to me was senior citizens. However, I ruled that out completely because every grocery store on the planet will carry out a senior citizen's groceries for them. Push the buggy, or the senior citizen sometimes needs the buggy to balance on, get to the car, load the car, and then they return the buggy. So senior citizens don't count. And the truth is, a lot of senior citizens, I mean, you're 60, you're 70, you're 80 years old. These are prideful people, and they like to put things back and do things right. So senior citizens are not the problem here, and generally they're not the problem.
So why don't we say that this question is based on if you can push a cart around the grocery store by yourself, and if you can push it back to your car.
Able-bodied people.
Able-bodied, you need to return. Okay, so that's the type of individual we're talking about.
Yes, okay. This is someone that has no real excuse. And I'm not counting the freezing cold as a real excuse.
Nope.
If you're in a freezing cold country in Canada, why aren't you dressed for the freezing cold?
Yes.
If you leave that buggy in the middle of a parking lot, wind could catch it. It could blow into someone else's car and scratch the paint. You've made life a nightmare for the people whose job it is to return them into the store quickly. Like, just come on, man.
Let me ask you this, because you were one of those workers, those employees. What if somebody said, or if I caught somebody, why aren't you returning that? And they said, well, they have people here to do that.
Well, yeah, technically we do, but then what about the second half of that where, yes, but this could, like, no parking lot surface is perfectly flat. It's always sloped towards sewers and drainage. These things are designed very specifically. That thing just catches a wheel spin and it's off to the races into someone's car, people dodging them in the parking lots. It's not right. It's not right. And like,
especially when you're going to like a grocery store and you're trying to find a parking spot, and then you see one down the road.
Yeah.
You're about to pull in, and there's like 2 empty carts right in the middle.
like man, and like you have the deposit ones. Those actually drive me nuts. Where people have to put a 25-cent deposit into the buggy to actually use it. Like, I hate when I go to a store that requires that. I'll never ever do it. I never have a quarter in my pocket. It's always in my like coffee thing in my truck. Like, man. So I don't think there's an excuse to do it. So how do we deal with these people?
Now, have you ever seen cart narcs?
No, what is that?
So cart narcs is like, it's an American YouTube channel, Instagram page, where this guy sits in like shopping mall parking lots waiting for people to get some on film not returning their cart, and rolls up to him. He's got these like little wands, and he's got a GoPro strapped to his chest, and he calls him out.
Sir, what's the problem?
I'm fixing to kill you
Why would you do that, sir?
because you ain't worth a piece of shit.
I wonder if we could get him to comment. Give us a video
that'd be
comment
so
for this
good.
episode.
He calls him out. He tells him, asks him why they aren't returning it, and basically the individual yells at him a little bit of exchange, but then they get in their car. When they get in their car, he's got a bumper sticker that he puts on the back of their car. It's
magnetic, I hope.
Yeah, it's magnetic. That says something about they didn't return. They're not our cart returning or something like that. So said individual either doesn't see it and drives around town like that, or gets out, and then there's a fight. There are some amazing arguments back and forth. And how does, that person has nothing to say. It's like, yeah, and he calls people lazy bones. That's his thing.
Yeah.
And the best ones are like, hey, you're parked next to the corral.
Oh my God.
It's almost easier to return it than it is what you did to get it up on that ledge to move it wherever you did.
In all those corrals now, they have like the lip at the outer edge so the carts can't blow back, which furthers my theory of a sudden wind blowing carts all over the lot. They install like these mini metal speed bumps at the outer edge, and some people will just push it up near that and don't push it over. Like, you just pushed a buggy, a shopping cart, like a kilometer around a grocery store. You can't walk another 30 feet. When I go to Costco, for example, Costco is a massive place. Like, those guys, the buggy guys at Costco, they are top of the league, man. Those guys do like 30 at a time with the big rubber straps, and there's 2 guys involved. Now they're sanitizing them all. Top Costco buggy guys and gals, see lots of gals doing it too. Top of their game. Best in the business from what I've seen. And I can speak to it because I'm a professional. But when you go to Costco, I don't even try and park near the front. I park near the closest buggy return thing. Why?
Yeah.
Like, it makes my life exiting so
Always.
easier. I'm towards the back of the parking lot. I'm walking an extra 40 feet. People that drive around parking lots looking for the best spot, I hate those people so much. It's like, just park in the first open one and go inside. What are you doing?
Dude, I don't think I've ever pulled into like a grocery store when you've been in my car, but you would laugh at how far I park away from the front door. Because I don't mind walking.
Yeah.
It's it's good exercise. And then once you get like way back there, there's no other cars to deal with. There's no other people. You can take your time loading your groceries in. There's always a car corral back there too. It's empty.
Yeah.
It just makes so much sense. I'm like the Clark Griswold of grocery stores.
First one's here.
But we're so far away, Clark.
Right. And at the end of the day, when the lot's all full and everybody's fighting to get out of here, we'll be the first ones out, too, right?
I don't know if many people will
Totally.
get that reference, but that's who I am. Now, I think before we get into what should the punishment be for these idiots, why do you think they're doing it?
I think it's a self-entitlement thing that someone's being
Yeah.
paid minimum wage to return this buggy. Why should I do it?
You made a good point just then, and I didn't realize that they're actually walking around the store a kilometer, and not able to go 4 or 5 feet.
And pushing a progressively heavier buggy. Like if it's
Yeah.
a family size $180 grocery, that's a heavy buggy.
Yeah. Now, to me, I don't care, man or woman, age, anything. Multiple times, I see people just do that and push it off, and I've said, that doesn't go there.
You have.
I've
You've called
called-
people out.
I've called people out
That's hilarious.
a lot, and I feel like one time I'm just gonna get punched out. But for like people like you and I'll be that person that takes a couple punches just to say, like, you're not above the law.
If you don't get that on film, that's a huge fuck up. Like if you're getting punched out because of buggies, I really need to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I don't know. Like, the punishment has to lean more towards shame than death, but I'm not excluding either. Like, I love what the Cartnark. I love what the Cartnark person's doing. I hadn't heard of that before. I have multiple close friends who own grocery stores. Actually, I'd love to get their feedback on this. I mean, if we actually researched this show, I'm sure I would have done that. But I mean, I grew up pushing buggies. My dad was in the grocery business. He's done it. My mom worked in a grocery store. Like, I know tons of people that have pushed buggies. Here's the thing, though. I have to say this because I think it's very, very important to not get too one-sided on this. Working at a grocery store can often be dull, especially when you're younger. When you're older, it's your job. Things change. Your perspective on life changes. But honestly, like, sometimes those buggies that were strewn really far about allowed me to kill a lot more time.
Okay.
So as the buggy person, the 16-year-old kid, the 17-year-old kid, it wasn't always the worst, but that little glimmer of awesomeness is completely trumped by the weather changes when it's like minus 22 with wind chill in February, and carts, you have to push it across ice that's been snow that's been rained on and all that crap. It's not a good time, man. So I tried to find a bit of positive there, but there isn't really one.
Because realistically, if you look at it, it's minor compared to like other things in the world that people aren't returning their cards. But the thing is that these individuals, what else?
That's exactly it. It's not minor because
doing?
this spills over into their life for sure.
It's their entitled behavior.
Yes.
That this lowly grocery store buggy pusher, I'm higher than him.
Yeah.
He can come to my card and get it. He can come do this, or she, and screw him. So I think you're right that the punishment has to be more on the shame side. Because, like, what do? You say, oh, you can't come to my grocery store for 2 weeks. It's like you're grounding.
That's where I'm going with my
grocery
answer,
store.
That's where I'm going with my answer. Can I make a proposal as to what I think should be done?
Definitely.
I think the next 3 times you shop in a grocery store, you're not allowed to have a push buggy. You can only have a basket or 2 baskets or whatever that's harder to carry, and you have to wear a bright red jacket.
Now, on the bright red jacket, can it say, I suck at putting my buggy back?
No, I suck at everything. Because, as we said, that spills over, man. That person's doing other ignorant shit all the time for sure.
Yeah, it's like, I'm a loser, and I hate people, and yeah,
I wear horse blinders like this, and I don't see other human beings out here trying to live a life, do their thing. I don't care about other people's cars, paint jobs. I'm a colossal piece of shit.
That's it right there.
That's a lot of font. We have to use a very specific font to get all that on the jacket, but we should still do it.
Or maybe they wear a billboard. Because if you see a shirt with writing on it, you're not going to... You might see it, you might not.
What if it's LED and it flashes and changes hues, calls attention to it?
LED billboard?
Well, or a jacket with LED, so maybe the back of the jacket's got transparent openings and it's lit.
Yes, and it's got battery powered on the inside.
Right.
Yeah, I like it.
And they have to pay $0.25 to take it off. It's got one of those key locks on the zipper, and you have to put the key lock in to have it on, and then...
Nice. I think there's a lot of different areas we can go with this. I mean, people who park terrible get me just rabid.
Almost certainly the same people.
100%. The same person who doesn't return a cart is the same person who doesn't care if they're parked in the lines or not, is the same person that does a million other auto infractions, is the same. I mean, we're really, really judging people right now.
Are we though? Because I really feel like if you show me a photograph of someone and then tell me this person never returns their cart to the cart corral, I bet you with FBI level precision, I could tell you how their past relationships have gone, how their current ones have gone, what kind of parenting they had growing up, how they performed in sports, the job satisfaction they have. I bet you we could analyze and profile these people so well.
Okay, let me throw this at you. You meet a girl. I'll give you the option of where you met her. Did you meet her on online dating? Did you meet her at the bar? Did you meet her at the library? You pick.
Well, I'm always picking up chicks at the library.
Perfect. You meet a girl named Mary at the library. She was just getting out the Lord of the Rings trilogy books. You say, "Hey, can we go out on a date next Thursday?" Sure. You pick her up. You're driving to wherever, and then you forget that you had to get some cat food for later on the night. You say, "Can we make a pit stop at the grocery store?" Sure. You pull in, go into the grocery store. She says, "Let me get a couple of things for myself too." She grabs a buggy. Go back to the car. You load everything in your car. And she doesn't return the cart. She just puts it in the empty spot next to her, next to you guys. Do you go on the date or not?
I get out of the car, put the buggy back in the corral, una noche. I don't say anything to her, then I drive her home.
Yeah, this is why we're friends, because I would do the exact same thing.
And I'm going to take this a step further. I'd also steal her groceries from her.
Yes. That's
and if there
another
was any fruit, as I'm speeding away, I'm whipping it at her.
I just got an idea. So my punishment
Return your buggy, bitch!
So you've got to walk in shame with the LED bright jacket through the store, and you've got to do the groceries for 20 other people every week.
Wow.
For a year.
That's okay. I get on. Listen, you want to keep going severe with this? Anything shy of the death penalty, I'm into. I love
it's
this.
Like community service for being a loser.
A loser. You're a loser.
Loser. That's it. Okay.
If you're unable to return a buggy, grocery stores offer services to help you. Grocery store employees are some of the nicest people on the planet. They spend all day dealing with people. They don't deserve this.
I think we've come to our conclusion. The shame jacket and doing groceries for other people. Yeah. I'm cool with that. You?
Good, man. I think that's more than enough as long as people are called out.
Okay. And if you're like us, check out Cartnarks. I'll link it in the description below.
Yeah.
And Kyle, I'll give it to you before we shut this off.
Okay. Folks, we've offered very important opinions on this episode about a very important subject. The way for you to keep getting this important factual knowledge we press to you is to subscribe, to comment. Tell us your thoughts on this topic. We need to be corrected if we're wrong. We need to hear your suggestions. We need a lot of things from you. So share this with your friends. We all have worked in grocery stores. We all know friends that did or do. Talk to them about this. This is an important issue. There's a lot of things floating around the news these days. This isn't being talked about enough. So please discuss it with us in the comments.
We're doing it to hang out, but we're also doing it for that young male or female cart pusher.
Yeah, this episode wasn't about you and I. This episode was community service as far as I'm concerned.
This is for them. All right. This has been another episode. We'll catch you on the next one, and who knows what we'll talk about then. But thanks for watching, and now it's time for the awkward highs.
Oh, I always clap early.
You beat me to it. All right. 3, 2, 1. Tricked you.
I'm gonna ride to your cave. Your papa said
I'm actually worked up. I'm sweating.
Cause I